Bereaved families have come together to help produce a series of films to try and educate school children about knife crime. The virtual reality experience, which is hosted by the actor Ralph Little, takes children into a police custody suite and a mortuary visiting room in the hope of sparking honest conversations about the country's knife crime epidemic. One of the driving forces behind the project is the Matthew Daulby Foundation. Matthew was stabbed to death in July last year. Earlier, I spoke to his mum, Angela, and his brother, Tom, and I began by asking them what made them get involved.
Obviously, the impact on the family, it's devastating. It's something that you never can comprehend or imagine. In the video, it's the second section of the video, you actually see 3 interviews, me doing one of them, basically just questioning our experiences. It takes you through, well, my personal experience of what happened that night when we got the call at 2 o'clock in the morning to go down to the hospital, and you don't realise until it actually happens what that effect will have on you, your family, everyone surrounding, Matthew's friends. We got a call at 2, we went down to the hospital, and then you get taken into like this back room, and straight away you're thinking, what's going on here? Why are we special? Why are we going into a random room with no one in? And then the chief sergeant comes in and the trauma surgeon sits you down and says, you know, your brother's died, he's been killed. It's something that it scars you for life. So yeah, it's been an emotional, but I hope through the educational videos that were formed and Mr. Little's made, that hopefully we can nip it in the bud as soon as possible. Because I was reading some figures before. In 2021, 26,000 people were seriously injured or killed through knife crime. That figure in 2023 was almost double to 50,000. So it's definitely on the up, but I feel like if we can at least get one person in every school year to go back home, put the knife back, don't take that knife out, then we've done our jobs and we're saving lives without them people even knowing that we're saving their lives. So yeah.
These videos cover some very uncomfortable truths about knife crime, details that perhaps children are not privy to. And, you know, it talks about the bravado and status of carrying a knife. It talks about who can carry a knife. It's not just young lads, it can be girls, it can be straight-A students. And it talks about the culture, like mates egging other kids on to carry a knife. But there was a really poignant bit in one of the videos where the air ambulance crew say, you know, when we land 10 minutes after something like this has happened, their mates are gone. They're nowhere to be seen. You know, we talked to the trauma surgeon in the video, and the trauma surgeon says these so-called mates leave these kids, stabbed kids, at the door of the hospital and do a runner. And it's these kind of messages that really can cut through to children, perhaps, Angela.
No, I definitely agree, Sarah. I think it's really, really important. I think that it's very easy for lots and lots of young people to get together and say, oh, let's do this, and, you know, it'd be really good to do that. They don't actually realise what that actually means. And that is the really good thing that the videos show. It shows them that, you know, you can be the big I am, you can be you can be part of a gang, you can be part of a group. But ultimately, that decision you make to carry that knife is life-changing for families. It's life-changing for siblings, it's life-changing for aunties, uncles, grandparents, but it's also life-changing for them as well, and their families. That decision they make on that night to carry a knife will live with so many people for so long, including the emergency services who have to pick this up at the point of when they receive a person in there, and the people that have to tell their heartbroken family, who we were just hoping for the best news possible. Somebody had to tell us that our 19-year-old child had been murdered by a knife, and that must stay with them as well. So this has the decision they make on that night to carry a knife affects so many people, and the video actually demonstrates that really, really well.
Tell me about Matthew, Tom, tell me about your brother, because we talk about the impact of knife crime and you two are sitting there with the loss of a bright young man, somebody who walked out the door and was looking forward to a trip to Ibiza and just didn't come home that night. And his life was cut short. He's missed out on so much. Tell me what he was like. What was he like as a brother?
He was one of a kind, to be fair. Funny, cheeky, done everything that he wanted to do. But he was also really caring, which you didn't actually notice. There's been so many people that have come up to my mum and said, did you know that he done this on the side and helped us out? And my mum was like, no, we didn't hear that once from him. But we were glued to the hips. He was like typical brothers. We argued, no doubt about it. We argued all the time. Mostly about lifts. I drive, he doesn't drive, so obviously whenever he needs a lift, he'd ring me. I'd normally always say no, but then about 2 minutes later, I'd ring him and say, where are you then? How come I pick you up? And he knew how to work me, knew exactly how to work me. But yeah, he was funny, very funny. Loving person, and obviously I miss him dearly, but I won't forget him. I'll always remember what he was and what he always will be.
When you're so devastated and something so precious is taken away, the only thing you can do is protect somebody else from going through that. And we very, very quickly decided that we wanted to do something. We didn't want Matthew to die in vain, and we wanted to help people from never, ever experiencing, as a family, what we've had to experience. And that's the aim of the Matthew Daulby Foundation.
Well, Angela and Tom, thank you so much for talking to us about Matthew and the work that you're doing in his name. Those videos are so powerful, and like I said, just giving us some of the stark, harsh detail involved in knife crime and the fallout from knife crime that people perhaps don't get to hear or see and hope they never do. But it's really hard-hitting, and I know that you think so many young people should see it as a deterrent. So thank you for coming on to talk to us about it. Thank you.
That's right. I think one other point, Sarah, that I think is really, really important. Knife crime can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody. People think that knife crime happens because young people are in a gang. That is not the case. Matthew was not part of a gang. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And he was attacked and killed within 1 minute. He was attacked from behind, and that's how quickly and devastating knife crime can actually be.